You can't solve the insecurity issue without first solving the corruption issue. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, one thing we need to understand about insecurity is that insecurity is not just about random acts of violence. Now, particularly when we're talking about organized insecurity at the level that we're seeing in Nigeria, we need to understand that the reason why it exists is because it's profitable for it to exist. Let's unpack how insecurity makes its money in the first place. Now, everybody knows that there are some people who sponsor terrorism in Nigeria. Now, that's just one angle of it, right? But beyond that, there's a large way they make money, which is kidnapping for ransom, cattle rustling, illegal smuggling, and mining of certain minerals in the country, and they're exporting these things, and they're making a whole lot of money. For you to understand the scale of money that they're making, right? I want you to understand that the average AK-47 is rumored to cost almost £500,000 naira, right? Now, beyond that, these weapons that these guys are carrying are costing millions of nairas. Even the bikes that they're riding are costing millions. A bike today costs somewhere between 1 million and 2 million naira. And I want you to imagine that these bikes have to be smuggled to them, meaning the costs are going to be higher, right? But yet you see them fully kit and you see them dressed up and you see them going out there and they have everything that they need, right? So you need to understand that there's something funding this insecurity. Now, how does corruption come in? Let's take, for the example, illegal mining and smuggling of minerals out of the country, right? The only reason that exists is because someone somewhere is not securing the borders. Someone is allowing these illegal mining activities to happen. And so billions of dollars worth of minerals are being extracted from this country, right? Take, for example, even basic things like security, or shall we say our defense against this insecurity, right? Against these agents of terrorism. There's two aspects to this now. Recently, a man called Justice Cracks was arrested by the Nigerian army, detained for quite a number of time. I believe he's free now. And what was his crime? He simply published some videos of Nigerian soldiers showing what their meals are like at the front line. Now, I want you to imagine for yourself, right? You get demotivated if your boss doesn't tell you you've done a great job. You get demotivated if your boss doesn't pay you well. Now, I want you to imagine you're getting shot at work. Would you be motivated to fight if the conditions that you're in are, shall we say, inhospitable, right? Now, beyond that, there's also the issue of the weapons that these people are getting, right? Are they getting the right weapons? Are they getting the right ammunition? Are they getting the right kind of support that they are going to need in order to be able to fight the bandits? Recently, another case that has gone viral is a policeman called Newton, somewhere in Anambra State, that went on camera and recorded himself threatening to kill Nigerians simply because, right? Simply because they are recording him on video. Now, let us move past the emotional reaction that we have to what he said by threatening to kill us as citizens, right? And let's listen to the other things he said. And one of his key complaints was the fact that as a policeman, if he was to die in the line of duty, he did not feel like his family was going to be taken care of. He cited that he's just the new IG that has started back paying some of the money owed. Now, when we think about this, why does this exist? It's because somewhere somebody is manipulating the system and stealing the money that should be going to the widows of, our servicemen and women. Now, if people who are supposed to risk their life every day do not feel that the government itself will secure and protect them if they lose their life, then why would they be motivated to do these things? So you see that there's a whole system whereby we weaken the people who are fighting these forces. The terrorists themselves are making a huge amount of money. And let us not forget that when terrorists exist in a country, right, there is a lot of money moving around. There's a lot of money being shared among the governors as security votes. There's a lot of contracts being given to buy weapons, to buy ammunition, to feed the soldiers. Now, all of these are avenues for corruption. And that is why when we look at the world as the whole world, we can see that there's a clear correlation between corruption and insecurity. Now, whether that insecurity happens to be from, like in our case in Nigeria, terrorism, or that insecurity happens to be in the form of narco-terrorism, as we have in some other country, there is a strong correlation between these two. Now, are there any countries that have successfully done that? Are there any countries that have successfully tackled the issue of insecurity and corruption? Yes, 100%. There are countries who have done that in the past, and there are countries who are solving their problem now. But the pathway to do it is to tackle the issue of corruption as well as insecurity. Because without corruption, insecurity cannot last. Because the government, let us keep in mind, the federal government of Nigeria is the most powerful military in West Africa. We have a well funded machine that ordinarily, on paper, will absolutely destroy any terror group. So, why then have these terror groups existed for that long? Simply because without tackling the corruption issue, you cannot guarantee security for your people.